What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are having a good one. Today we are going to be going over controller versus mouse and key and which one you should use in Modern Warfare 3. With the new COD release coming out very soon, we have the campaign early access coming out at 10 a.m. Pacific on November 2nd and the multiplayer releasing next week on November 3rd. Why not talk about which input you should use? Are you a controller player looking to play mouse and key? Are you a mouse and key player looking to play controller? Today we're going to go over a few things like aim assist, the pros and cons of each, and a few other things. First, I want to start off with talking about my experience with using both controller and MnK. I've been using controller pretty much since I started gaming. I've been using a controller pretty much since I started gaming back on the Xbox 360 and COD 4, which was my first multiplayer game slash real gaming experience, if you want to say. Now, to go over which controller I use, I currently use a Scuff. And when I do play mouse and key, I have a Logitech G Pro Superlight and just a Ducky 65% keyboard. I have played controller and mouse and key on a variety of games from Call of Duty to Valorant, which is mouse and key only, League of Legends, which is mouse and key only, Apex, Siege, you name it. Pretty much every game I've dabbled with both, if it allows for both, to really find out which one I like better, which one should I use, which one I prefer, etc. First, we're going to go over aim assist. You can't talk about controllers without talking about aim assist. Aim assist is a huge topic in today in gaming, especially with, cross plays being introduced way back when around Fortnite, I believe. It's a hot topic. Now, what is aim assist? Aim assist really does two things. It slows down your reticle when you are moving your right stick, or if you do it with the left stick, you're crazy, but it is what it is. And it'll try to keep your reticle over the enemy, basically around their hitbox. Some games are stronger than others. Some games are less strong. I mean, we've all seen Modern Warfare 2 where it is extremely strong. Even games like Apex where the hip fire is just insane. And two, it will try to keep the reticle on the enemy while it's moving for tracking. It makes it easier to track the enemy. You have to do less work on your side. Again, could be stronger, weaker, depending on the game, depending on how the algorithm's made. It makes aiming easier. Now, for Call of Duty specifically, there are a few different types of aim assist that you can choose from. I'm pretty sure these will be the settings in Modern Warfare 3. And this is what I've been using really since Modern Warfare 2019. For your aim assist type, obviously, first off, you want aim assist on. If you turn it off, you might get used to it, but if you're using a controller, keep it on. Aim assist type, you got default, which is just traditional aim slow down near target used in Modern Warfare games. Precision, which is a strong aim slowdown that only kicks in when aiming closer to target, best for accurate players. Focusing, which is strong aim slowdown that also kicks in when narrowly missing a target, best for players new to analog aiming. Basically saying if you got bad aim, use that. Black Ops, traditional aim slowdown near target used in Black Ops games. This is what I use. It's just felt the best to me. I haven't even used all of them, but I just switched it to this and felt really comfortable using it. Now, I will say, in this game, I feel like none of these matter because of how strong the aim assist is. I mean, it's a snap. It's almost like you have aimbot, quite literally. You press left trigger, L2, whatever buttons you use, you are on that target, and it's kind of hard to lose them, especially from the short to medium range. It's crazy. Third person, I don't play third person. Then you have your different response curves: standard, linear, dynamic. Standard, you have simple power curve map from map aim stick to aim rate. Linear aim stick maps directly to aim rate, and dynamic reverse S curve mapping for fine aim rate control. I use dynamic again. Something I've just been using, got used to. Feels good. Feels like I have more control and I can make the finer adjustments that I need with this combined. And then the rest of this is just a few dead zone things that I use. But that's aim assist for me and what I use on Call of Duty. Not all games have these strong settings. I know for a game like Apex, it's really just on or off. And if anybody's played Apex with controller, it honestly might be just as strong as this game, if not stronger, in my opinion. Aim assist is, again, it's a hot topic, but controllers need it. We have two thumbs, Mouse and key, you have a whole arm, a whole wrist. We're gonna go over the pros and cons for the controller first. First, the short to medium range I think is better and more reliable on a controller, just because, you know, the aim, it is because of the aim assist. The short range battles specifically, you'll probably not lose to a mouse and key player, just because the aim assist is basically going to be locked onto that person at all times. Same with medium, you're going to have to make your finer adjustments, but it's easier to track the player. It's easier to hit your shots. The next pro is, for me personally, I think movement is easier. Again, I think it comes down to using a controller for so long, especially for Call of Duty, that making the movements and stuff that I want to do is kind of just there. You don't have to think about it. When I try to do movement on mouse and key, I have to think about which button I'm going to hit. It's like, man, just because I haven't used it in a while and for a Call of Duty, it feels odd. So, I mean, that's all. It's nothing. It's not hard to learn, but that's, again, this is just what I think you should use for Call of Duty specifically. The third pro is a controller is just easier to use for everybody. You know, you go to the store, buy it, plug it in, pick it up. That's it. You have your A, B, X, Y, X, circle, triangle, square, 2 analog sticks, few triggers on the back. That's a few bumpers. That's it. It's just easier to use. It's easier to understand for everybody. I think it's easier to master. You know, it doesn't take long, but it's just an easier input to use. A con is, you know, we talked about the pro being short to medium range. A con is the medium to long range fights. If you're going up against mouse and key, that long range fight, it's going to be a little bit more tough for you. I mean, you got recoil, which Call of Duty, there's really no recoil at all. Mouse and key, they're gonna laser you. Unless they're just really bad, they're gonna laser you. Con is just less user input for aiming. And I know you're probably like, well, you have aim assist. It pretty much does it for you. Yes, but when it comes to making minor adjustments, I think it's a bit harder, because, you know, the analog stick is just a thumb. You can't make the small adjustments that you want to make with the wrist or your arm. It's just a thumb, which you could say you could, but when you're holding the analog stick, it's a lot harder to make those finer adjustments. The last con is that aim assist is kind of hurts you sometimes. If you have a player here and a player here, and this player crosses this player, you could be shooting at this guy, and this guy will cross, and it will literally track this guy. And it's annoying. It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you plenty of times. Where, like, man, I would have killed that guy and probably killed the second guy, but I didn't get any kills because my shots went from here to here. Didn't even get a chance to kill this guy. Now I got 10 different bullets coming at me. It's like, come on, man. That's the most annoying thing for me, is when the aim assist tracks the wrong person, which, you know, that's the whole con of using the controller, but we have other benefits to using it. Now, if we'll go over the pros and cons for mouse and key, you know, medium to long range, as basically said that was a con for controller, is a pro for mouse and key. The next pro, full control over aiming. Like I was showing, wrist, you arm. I'm more of like a wrist, forearm player, not whole arm, shoulder player, but basically just wrist. And I will say, it feels nice. The control is nice. The aiming feels good. It's just, you know, I'm in control. Next pro, which might be a bit strange to say, but you have a variety of button mappings where you have a whole keyboard. You even have buttons on the mouse. So if something's not comfortable for you, you know, like you have a scuff, you gotta have paddles, might not be comfortable for you. You gotta play claw, which probably ain't good for your wrists or your hands. Mouse and key, you have a variety of buttons, a whole keyboard that you can map and set up exactly how you want, which I think is good. You can map buttons on a scuff or an elite controller, but you're limited to, you know, 4 paddles. You know, again, mouse key, you got a whole keyboard. Now, I could only come up with 2 cons for mouse and key, which is, there's a point to this. Short to medium range, which we talked about with controller being a pro, and I think it's harder to use, not really in the sense of, like, you know, everybody not in today's uses a mouse and key to type and stuff, so people are comfortable with that, I would say. But I think it's harder to master. You might pick it up and it might feel a bit comfortable. You might have you know, the basics down, but making those finer adjustments, being able to track people, which is probably the hardest thing. And you know, getting your movement down, it's going to be harder to master. But this leads me into my next point of, I believe if you master mouse and key, it will be a more fun gaming experience, in my opinion, just from what I've experienced, than using a controller in pretty much every game. Now, you still have to go up against aim assist, which it is what it is. It's a console-based game, but you know, if you've mastered controller, it won't take you as long to master mouse and key, and I think you might even transfer. You know, who knows? I'm not saying to make that jump. That's on you. I mean, you're gonna have to put in some time, but at the end of the day, I think if you master it, you know, I mean, we see people like Shroud, Timmy, who really don't play Call of Duty, but if they did, they would be nice. You got Symphony, Huskers, people just, they're good at what they do. Lastly, last point of the day for this is really, it all comes down to preference. You know, if you prefer the mouse and key and having full control, use it. I mean, you can switch between the games really to use it. You know, I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm gonna use controller. I'm playing something else, I'm gonna use mouse and key. That's what I do. But you know, it really all comes down to preference. For Call of Duty, even games like Halo, really any console based game, I'll probably use controller. What I recommend for Call of Duty specifically, I recommend using a controller. You know, if you're a new Call of Duty player and you're undecided, I would say use a controller if you have one. You know, I mean, a regular controller I believe is only $60. I wouldn't say go buy a scuff or something right away. It's gonna cost you 200 or so, but I would say use a controller, feel for it, then buy one of those. But I recommend using a controller because, again, this game is made for controller players. Like, that's it. So why not use the input that it's made for? Now, you can use MnK without having issues, but use controller. I'm telling y'all, use controller. It's the pros use it for a reason. I don't think Call of Duty will ever go to mouse and key for the pro scene. Maybe have a separate pro scene, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think the two are ever going to be combined together. I think controller players in Warzone have always been the ones who win the tournaments. I don't think, from my knowledge, there's ever been a mouse and key player that's won a big tournament in Warzone. Even, you know, the smaller amateur tournaments or for fun tournaments for the regular multiplayer, I think it's always been a controller player. And that goes to show, again, this game is built for controllers. I've said it a million times. I'm gonna keep saying it. It's built for consoles, controllers. So that's what I recommend. I think it's the best experience for this specific game. For Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty in general, I recommend using a controller if you haven't. If you've been a mouse and key player forever and you've thought about it, make the switch. If you're just comfortable on MnK, stay there. You know, I'm not knocking MnK, but this is more for the people who are new to the game, looking to switch because of the whole aim assist debacle. Just try it out. I recommend it. Find your sensitivities. I play on 6.6. It works perfect for me. That's all we got for you today. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Again, Modern Warfare 3 campaign comes out on 10 a.m. Pacific, November 2nd, which is a Thursday. And the full game, Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer, comes out on November 10th. I'm excited. Are you excited? I hope so. You know, it's a new year of COD. We'll see what it is. Leave your comments down below what you think is better, mouse and key or controller. Also leave a comment below if you're excited for the COD. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one, y'all. Peace.